Hello everyone, welcome to another Google Cloud lab session. So my name is Suresh, and in this lab we will look into how to build an LLM and RAG based chat application by using AlloyDB and Vertex AI. So without any further delay, let me start the lab. So I'm going to use my 5 credits to this, and in this lab I'm not going to discuss anything in detail with respect to the LLM or what is RAG and AlloyDB and other Vertex AI. Here the intention of this course is to only to perform the tasks provided in the list of instructions, and we are going to complete this. Okay, so without any delay, let me open this in the incognito mode. So in the meantime, you can go through these tasks that we are going to perform in this exercise. Okay, you can pause the video here and then start it. And the overview of this exercise, this talks about the retrieval augmented generation, that is RAG, LLM, and there are few other concepts that you can go ahead and research on your own. So this is going to use the Gemini Pro version. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn. So we are going to enhance the RAG LLM capabilities, and you're going to use AlloyDB, and we are going to use Vertex AI and some foundation models. So setup is just done, and let me complete the setup. The setup is nothing but opening in the incognito mode and assigning the tasks. These are all talks about the same thing. Okay, so let me activate the Cloud Shell as well. So let me agree to this first, and let me activate the Cloud Shell. Let me continue, and let me authorize. Once authorized, I will bring it as a separate tab. Let me bring it to the separate tab, and let me authorize the list. You can see the list of authorized list. You can see the student. This is exactly matches with our student ID, and if we want, you can see the list as well. So project is also looking good. So let's start with the task 1, initialize the database environment. So if you have any questions, or if you want to understand slowly, maybe you can pause the video here and get into this, but I will keep on executing the code that is real. So in this, I'm going to do the SSH to the central one zone, and yes, okay, generating public key pair. Why this is not here? Empty for no face. Let me go ahead with an empty again. Okay, now I got the fingerprint. Looking good. Click enter or return specify default inputs. After a short wait, you logged into the VM to install the progress client in the VM session. Okay. So basically you can see I just wanted to confirm in which VM it has got. Okay, app VM, you can see it here. Okay, So apt hyphen VM, that is the VM. Now we have SSH to that VM. Inside that VM, again here also you can see, inside this apt VM we are able to install the Postgres client. Okay, now now let's get into this code. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll paste this. Instead of giving enter, just you can go at high level what we are going to do. Here you can see PG user, Postgres user, Postgres password is a sample password, and Google Cloud Git Value project, region, AlloyDB, AIP cluster, and in Google Cloud, AlloyDB instances describe any, and you can see the AlloyDB cluster and its region is coming from the US central one, and the value of the IP address in the format, and the project is you can get it from here. Now I click in, now I hit the enter. So all information is, now I get into this host. Now you can see PSQL host instance IP and its user, and just SSL mode as required. Done. So I can see this. Now I launched into the Postgres. Now if you let me take help, looking good, or let's see the version. So we are getting everything good. I'm not sure, I'm just typing some version. Okay, I'm not sure how to check the version, but anyway, right now I was able to log into this Postgres. Now I'll do the exit. Okay, quit. Here the mentioned as exit, but basically this is a quit /q. Okay, now again we are back to SSH. If you want, I can clear, and I brought it to top. Fine. Now task 1 is completed. Now we are going to create the database, vector database. Okay, so again I am just copying this code, and you can see this is going to create a PG user, and it's going to create an assistant demo. Okay, now enter. Now you can see the message is called create database. Okay, now let's create an extension called vector. You can see PSSQL in this host using the user in the DB, I mean database name, or in the DB, we are going to create -c and creating the create extension vector. Vector is also got created. Now let's see, check the progress. I'm just curious whether we can go and search it over here. I can try that. You can see the status is access completed. AlloyDB. Let me open it in the new tab. I'm just curious, here it is not part of this, but you can see, yeah, cluster is got created. Okay, AlloyDB IP01. I think that is what we have provided, or let's say assistant demo. This is AlloyDB cluster. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you can see there is an assistant demo we got created. Okay, fine. Let me go back to our lab. Okay, in task 3 we are going to install the Python and going to create the virtual environment, all those things. You can see the app install Python 3.11, and we are going to create a virtual environment and then going to activate and upgrade the pip. If the VM session is over ever times out or the tab is closed, you can SSH into VM again and use the command. Okay, we are still in the SSH, so we should be good. So once this is done, so we will use the Python version and we will see this. And you can see there is a, in the left side, you can see there is a virtual environment got created. Okay, so we have logged into virtual environment. Let's check the Python version. Looking good, 3.11.2. Populate the example data. Now the example data, we are going to use this. So we are going to cloud from github.com, Google Cloud Platform, GenAI database retrieval app. Okay, so now CD, we are going to CD to this GenAI, and then we are going to look into the data of models.py. Okay, let's do that. Okay, there is a huge file. So here I'm not going to explain about this file, but what I would suggest is you can go to this clone. Okay, so in this clone, either you can go to the specific location after this GenAI retrieval app folder. There are retrieval service and there is models folder, and inside that models.py. So if you can ask, this is the model, and there are class called airport, amenity, and some information about the flight, ticket, and policy. Okay, and everything is under the base model parameter. Okay, we'll see how this works. To see example of the airport data, run the following. Okay, just looking into this. So there is an ID. What is this? IATA. Okay, yes, that is a yes for San Francisco short form. Okay, name is San Francisco International Airport. City is San Francisco and United States. Let's say I can get another data, something like this with respect to 2 or 3. Okay, now you can see the difference. There is a another Magdan Airport. So IATA is MAG and Magdan Airport, Magdan, Papua New Guinea. Okay. Now similarly we will take for flight data. So we are going to see this is going to be in the flights data set.csv. We are going to grab some information that is related to San Francisco. Okay, enter. Okay, so we have some information about San Francisco as a departure, and arrival airport is in different locations with some information over here. Okay, and also similarly we look for the amenity data set. Oh my god, this is having so much of information. Okay, let's say ID, name, description, location, terminology. There are a lot of informations over here, so you can see this as well. So again, to understand this, I will leave this. You can take a snapshot or you can pause the video and understand about this. Okay, so this array is having 768 numbers. Okay, this is a semantic search. Okay, now to create a database configuration, run the following commands. So I will directly copy this and paste it over it. Before this, let me clear this so that you can see this clearly. Yeah, Now this is the command. You can see the export. I'm not going to go into details, but you can get the information about what is this about. Okay, so with this I'll hit enter. So we have the data store example for LLDB and the username and password, my client ID. So everything is configured. So to populate the database with the sample set, run the following commands. Okay, let me run this following command. So first I will install the requirements and then run the database initialization. Again, what I recommend is like first clone this in your local repository and understand what these requirements and go through the each file that is defined. So that is the major task. Okay, so but within this course we will not be able to do that. So that is the reason I'm just executing the task that is provided for us. But once you build that environment, this is how easy that you can do a step-by-step process and everything together in a Google Cloud. That is the intention of this exercise. So let me wait. Okay, so let me check if I let me check the progress, or I can wait for some more time. And let me check whether I have that AlloyDB. You can see the users, Postgre user. This is what we developed. I mean, this is what we give every time. So I'm just curious how we can. So let me sign in for the assistant demo. Postgre is the user and the password is sample password. I think that is what we gave earlier. Let me go back. That is what we gave earlier. Let me check this sample password. Let me authenticate. Yes, we are inside this. Okay, this is from the UI standpoint. Okay, but here our exercise doesn't tell us about the UI thing, but with our curiosity, this is how it looks for us. Let me go to the Cloud Shell and check whether, yeah, this is done. Just to view, let me see. Yeah, you can see all the tables and all the extensions we have created. These are all the types. Okay, I'm not sure how this got created, but anyway, fine. Let's check the progress. Looking good. Now create a service account for retrieval service. Okay, open a new Cloud Shell tab. Okay, I'm just opening a new tab in the Cloud Shell, and this is coming back to my Cloud Shell. And let me create a service account. Now you can see project ID is got exported to project ID and IAM service accounts create retrieval identity. Adding a policy binding, this is going to be a service account. Okay, now hit enter. Configuration is okay, there is some error. Similarly, I found this error earlier as well. Before, let me check configuration. Yeah, this is assessment, but I am not sure why this is coming as a error. Service account retrieval identity does not exist, but here the service account got created. How this is possible, I'm not sure, but here it says retrieval identity. Policy modification failed. I agree with that. Let me check this one. Okay, there is an error. Okay, Just give me a second. Okay, so I'm not going to drill down on this error at this point. So let me go through this. Let me deploy the retrieval service to the VM Cloud Shell tab. Okay, moving on to the VM Cloud Shell tab, and region is got exported. Let me clear this again. And run this. You can see cd GenAI. So now all your this container, all this getting created. Okay, so it took some time, a few minutes, at least 5 to 7 minutes, and you can see the steps. So the building and deploying a new services. So all the steps has been executed, and you can see the revision has deployed, serving 100% traffic. And you can see there is a service URL. Let me open this up, a new tab. Forbidden your client has, okay, we'll see whether to verify the service, run the command. I'm not sure whether this is the right approach, but let me do this. So authorization, bearer, cloud, token identification, all these things, retrieval service, and hit enter. And you can see a message called hello world. If you see the hello world, service is up and servicing request. Let's see the progress. And the assessment is completed. So this is looking good, and you can see there is a hello world message we have retrieved. So now we will authorize the consent screen. Okay, now let's navigate to the dashboard, and here is the navigation menu and APIs and services. Authorization consent screen. Let me clear this search. Okay, here get started. Symbol here, user support email. Let me give as is. Click on next. Audience is internal. Click on next. Audience, select. Audience is internal. Click on next. This is email address. User with access to the product should be able to log in. I didn't get this one. From where this information came? On the left hand panel, copy the username. Okay, let me do the same thing here. Let me copy this username, paste it over here. Okay, let me go back to this step. Click on next. Okay, checkbox, data privacy, continue, and create. The consent is now finish. Now create a client ID for the application. Okay, now coming back to API services and credentials, create credentials, OAuth client ID. application type, consider as web application, and enter the name as symbol air. Okay, now let me go to this Cloud Shell. Let me open a new tab and let me execute this code. Anyway, I will show the code, what the code is, I mean what the line of command is. Echo origin, echo, so echo redirect. Okay, let me enter this and we can see some information. Okay, let me go back to this authorization, authorized Java origins, click add URI 1. Let me go to the Cloud Shell. Let me go to the Cloud Shell, URI 1. Where is this URI 1? Okay, copy the origin URI. Okay, this is the origin URI. Copy and paste it over here. Okay, and redirect URLs in URL 1. Copy the redirect URI that was created. Let me go to here, and this is the redirect URI. Copy and paste it over here and select create. Now this is creating, is created. It's created. To test this application, use the client ID. This is the client ID and this is the secret. Okay, let me go to the Cloud Shell. Let me export the client ID first. Here, this is my client ID, and let me paste it over here. Hit enter. Okay, now let's the VM show close to paste the client ID and then hit enter. So this is done. Let's check the progress. So assessment is clear. Now let's deploy the sample application. So I'm not sure whether I have to take a note of this client secret, but to be safer side, I will copy this, or else I will download this JSON. No need. Let me copy this and put it in an online notepad. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use this or not, but for safer side, let me copy the client ID also. Okay, click on okay. I don't now run the application. So LLM demo. So pip install requirements. Okay, let me go back to the Cloud Shell and get into this SSH location and copy this and hit enter. I want you guys to understand this whole code. Okay, so this is done, and now let me copy the base URL, export the base URL, basically echo base URL. So we got the base URL as well, and now let's run the application. So now we can see application is running, application startup is completed. Connect to the VM, connect to the application running on the VM. For example, you can open the port on the VM using firewall, using VPC to create row buzzer, blah blah blah. So what I will typically do is I will go with the Cloud Shell itself. Let me open a new tab in the Cloud Shell, create an SSH, and you can see the SSH code. So localhost, so now this is cannot assign requested address, but they mention you can ignore the address. Okay, to run the application in the web browser, click on the web preview and select the port. So here is our web preview, click on it, preview on port 8080. So welcome to Symbol here. Yeah, we done it. So hi, welcome to Symbol. How may I assist you? What is the next flight for Dallas? Okay, general query. So we successfully deployed the application. Now when we ask, the chatbot is going to respond to us. Okay. I'm not sure whether this is the right live application or not, but I don't think so. So let's try the optional. Okay, log into the application. Let's try the optional. Let me give a sign in. Okay, I'm not sure. Authorization is blocked. If you're a developer of this application, see your details, because I'm using a student ID, right? So that could be the reason it is not allowing me to log into this application. If you think that you are actually a real developer and actual developer, and you wanted to sign in, automatically this is going to allow you the. Let me try. A pop-up opens, but pop-up is not opened. Store access blocked. Basically, they say access is blocked. That's fine. Let me copy this with the assistant and paste it over here. Let's see what it responds. Looking good. Instead of change my mind. Okay, if I logged in, then I'll be able to answer it, I guess. But they say this is going to answer. If I signed in and then tried this option, then it should have provided me much more specific details. Because I logged in as an outsider, it is not allowing me the providing me the GitHub. You can read more about the demo application in the GitHub page. Let me copy this address and paste it over here. Okay, so this is the basically this is what the demo is about. You can get it from Google Cloud Platform GenAI Database Retrieval Lab. Yeah, we have completed our session, and thanks for joining. So without looking back, because I'm a student user, without I'm looking back, I will close everything here. Ta-da! So we have created. So let me complete the lab in the lab. And thank you for joining and have a great day. Bye.